Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope everybody out there is doing really well. Beautiful day today, and today we're checking out Match Point by Lacoste. Did a first impression on this fragrance a little while back, been giving it some wear, and now it's time for the full review. Like always, we're gonna take a look at this presentation. I'll break this one down, let you know how it smells to me, and let you guys know if it's something you should check out or not. So let's jump into it. And before we get too heavily into the Match Point review, let me know in the comments below your favorite Lacoste fragrance. One of the L1212s, maybe white, maybe yellow, or is it Lacoste L'Homme or L'Homme Intense? On the back you have your ingredient information, and on the bottom you have your badge code and your barcode, and the badge code here is 0150. And now the bottle. Again, name of the fragrance, name of the house, right there on the front. Lacoste crocodile right there at the top. Cap does click into place, as you can see right there. And then your badge code is actually on the back of the sticker, so you can see it through the back of the bottle. Typically you would find that here on the bottom of the bottle, but they've switched things up a little bit. And I'll go ahead and waste a couple sprays for you guys on this handy dandy tester strip. Actually, let me try to, there we go. Didn't want the wind to blow it right back into the camera. So this fragrance I actually ordered from Europe. So that's why I had this before it was officially released in the United States. Shipping is a little bit expensive, but typically the price when you buy designers in Europe is actually a little bit lower than here, so it works out okay. Still yet though, this one's gonna be readily available in the US before too long, and like most Lacoste fragrances, I think it will show up at discounters for a pretty heavy discount. Lacoste really well known for their sporty fragrances. Probably the L1212 line is what they're most well known for. So that's gonna be those colored bottles, all in the same bottle style. Most of those being, like I said, really sporty. They also had a Lacoste Pour Homme and some other lesser known fragrances like Lacoste Booster. But for the most part, Lacoste is known for having easy to wear, casual spring and summertime, daytime fragrances for the most part. And some of them are better than others. A lot of Lacoste fragrances are pretty forgettable, and nobody's really gonna make the argument that Lacoste is a trend-setting fragrance house. And that's not really changed here either. But I guess the real question is Match Point good enough that it can stand alongside some of the bigger names out there, you know, the Dolce & Gabbanas or the Versaces. Again, we're talking designer fragrance houses. Obviously, they're trying to do something a little bit different here, hence the new fragrance name, the new bottle style, all that stuff. They didn't just make another Lacoste L'Homme flanker, and those are pretty good. They center around rhubarb typically, and those are nice, especially for the price. And they didn't make another L1212, so this is something new. So what exactly did they do here? So this one, it has a modern, fresh, aromatic, green and sweet opening. You're gonna pick up basil, you're gonna pick up grapefruit right away, right off the top. It's a little bit more mature than most of their other fragrances, so it's gonna have a little more of an appeal to people in middle age, but at the same time, it does have that sweetness, so it's going to appeal to younger people as well. They're kind of trying to put it right down the middle, where people from either age range could wear this one. So that sweetness that I mentioned in the opening here, it steps back pretty quickly. It's not one that lasts for a really long time. It doesn't go, you know, all through the fragrance. It doesn't have this bubblegum kind of sweetness, at least to me. It's mainly that grapefruit, and that steps back as this heads into the mid. It's kind of there in the opening to pull you in. And then after it does pull you in, then it kind of makes an escape. So there's a note of Gentiana here in the mid. It gives it kind of a bitter, slightly dry facet to the fragrance. There's also geranium, so that's gonna keep things fresh. And I do get a little touch of powder from the geranium in the mid. Not an overdose of powder, but there's a little bit in there. And it's also got a decent amount of floral nuances there in the mid of the scent. And those floral nuances actually do give some sweetness through the mid as well. It's not the same kind of sweetness from the opening where it's more grapefruit centered, but there is still some sweetness there in the mid. Not as in your face though, not as prominent as in the opening. And for me, it's actually pretty interesting in the mid. You've got these different contrasts going on. So you've got some herbal facets, floral facets, sweet facets, dry facets, a lot of different things going on there. And then once you hit the dry down, you've got vetiver in here and you've got cashmere, and coming up to the front, more cashmere for me than vetiver. So it's gonna give you that warm, fuzzy, sort of modern vibe that you get from a lot of fragrances that use cashmere. It's become a more popular note over the past number of years. And it's in here as well. That is mixed with the geranium from the mid. So cashmere, geranium, and I'll tell you guys, the geranium in here actually reminds me a little bit of the geranium in Dolce & Gabbana's K. Now it's not the exact same, like this fragrance does not smell like Dolce & Gabbana's K if you put them side by side, but the geranium in here, the way it's used, especially from the mid into the dry down, reminds me of K, and I don't like K. I don't like it. And I guess it also reminds me of the geranium in L'Homme by Rojas, because the geranium in L'Homme by Rojas reminds me of Dolce & Gabbana K. So if this reminds me of K, geranium-wise, then it also reminds me of L'Homme. You get that, I guess? Does that make any sense? So again, just the geranium part. The supporting notes are different, but if you compare the way that it's used in here, the geranium, it's gonna remind you of those fragrances. Either that or just I'm completely insane. That could be it too. This one has a woody, green, slightly herbal dry down, and it's a people-pleasing kind of scent. From the opening to the dry down, this one, Match Point, is made to offend nobody. That's what this one is. From the opening to the mid to the dry down, it is made to be appealing. It's not really what I would call a blue fragrance necessarily, because it doesn't fall into a lot of the tropes that blue fragrances typically have, or what they typically do. But in the sense of just trying to be as versatile as possible, to have as many people like it as possible, I mean, that's kind of what this is trying to do. So it's a blue fragrance, but it's not a blue fragrance. Yeah, whatever. And for anybody out there that cares, my wife really likes it. She actually thinks it smells great. So it has her seal of approval. Let's talk really quickly about the performance. It's actually pretty good. For me, 7+ hours longevity, can't complain at all, because this is gonna be more of a spring and summertime fragrance. So 7 hours, that's good for me. In terms of projection, above average for about an hour and a half or so. After that, starts to settle in a little bit closer to the skin, but performance-wise, I can't knock it. Above average, thumbs up. Now, seasons, already said spring and summer, so spring and summer. It's more of a daytime scent for me than a nighttime scent, but that being said, people really like it. This DNA, it works, so nighttime you can pull it off just as easily as during the day. Usage-wise, I would say casual, office, not really what I would think of as a date night scent, but again, very versatile, so if you like it a lot, wear it during a date, who cares? It's a really good people pleaser. Doesn't skew too young. There's still sweetness in here, so younger people are still gonna like it, but it's also going to appeal to people that are middle-aged or potentially even older, because it's not too sweet. There is some sweetness, but it's not overly heavy-handed. It can pull attention, it can pull compliments, so if you're after that, check it out. I would say though, wait until it hits discounters. Again, we're talking Lacoste here. Lacoste fragrances pretty much always get heavily marked off when they hit discounters. So Lacoste is the type of brand where, yeah, you could buy this for whatever, 70, 80 bucks, whatever it ends up being full retail, or you could wait just a little bit and probably pick it up for 30, 35. And that's even when it's brand new and very first hits discounters. So I think that it's really pleasing. It's easy to wear. It's a dumb reach kind of fragrance, nice casual scent, nice office scent. It's got a nice appeal to a wide age range, but wait, save yourself some money. For me, overall, this one grew on me a pretty good amount. I did not get blown away by it at first. I thought it was all right. The more I've worn it, the more I've liked it. So that's a positive thing. I do like fragrances that grow on me. It's kind of a bummer where you like something, or when you like something a whole lot initially, and then after 5-6 wearings, you just are over it. Kind of the opposite here. I enjoyed it the more I wore it. Not super complicated, not super complex, but it gets the job done. So yeah, Match Point for me, pretty nice. I actually like this more than Lacoste L'Homme Timeless, and I like it more than pretty much any of the new L1212 fragrances that I've smelled. So match point for me, I'll give it a thumbs up. Again, considering the price, don't pay full retail. If you pay full retail, it would be more like, you know, 3/4, you know, like not a full thumbs up. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.